Hey guys, I'm back. I just came in for a break. Sorry if I'm a mess today. Well, I'm always a mess. Who are we kidding? I was out doing yard work today because it's so beautiful outside. And also because I had finished my other audiobook finally, and that's why I am here, because I thought I would go ahead and get this review up before I start physically reading my books. Next book, I'll show you. I think I'm going to do Verity because I've had this book for so long and I'm like, I'm going to read it. And then book club and other book suggestions, I keep putting it off. So I'm going to actually physically read a book instead of listening to one. So before I wanted to tell you, Verity, if you'd like to read along with me or chat about it, please. I would love to do a little multi-person review on this book. I get it if you don't want to. I'm new. No one knows me. Yada, yada. And I'm doing this instead of my podcast now. I might throw a couple podcasts in here too. But anyway, here I am talking about books because I love books, not because I'm a professional. Even though I wrote 2 books, I don't think of myself as a professional, but I love all these stories I have in my head that I can write down and hopefully somebody enjoys them. They're usually kind of scary and weird. Anyway, so and I do these little homework style book reviews that I found online, and it just makes it super direct and gets to the point and keeps me from babbling too much, even though I love a good babble. Anyway, so if you're kind of goofy and weird, I'm your girl. So the book was called The 20. No, I don't have a picture of it because I listened to it instead of read it. So, because I can multitask. Anyway, The 20 by Sam Holland. It is a murder mystery serial killer book. It's a slow burn, scary serial killer. It takes place in, I don't know, Britain somewhere, Great Britain somewhere. It's British, and I love that. I love the accent. The narrator had the accent, and all the, instead of detective, it's DCI or DC something. It has all those cool little acronym things that I love so much because I watched, what was it called? I'm not going to remember what it was called, but it was a good Broadchurch, I think it was called. It's an English murder mystery that was really good. And then I just watched, it was funny. It was a funny one, and it was called Deadlock, Dead, Loch, Australian murder mystery. And there's 2 seasons of that, and it's hilarious. And I didn't expect that, but I loved that it was. Anyway, back to The 20. So the hook, my first impression, the feeling. So the opening scene is somebody trapped in the dark, and he's starting to notice, I think, we don't know if it's he or she. I'm saying he, spoiler alert, trapped. He can't seem to get himself aware right away, but he starts to panic, and then he gets himself to breathe slowly. He notices he's chained or tied to something. He notices something sticking into his skin, all this stuff. And so you're like, oh my God, who is this? Who is this? What's going to happen to him? And then really nothing happens until later. So he talks about how he can't really see. He's in the dark. He's tied up. Somebody took him. He's cold. He has no shoes on. He's cold. That kind of thing. So that's what, I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen to him? So that's how that started. And then what it's about, it's about a detective who's kind of, the lost detective, has kind of lost passion, but he hasn't, but he thinks he has, kind of thing. He's looking for this serial killer. They come up on these bodies that have been discarded, and there's these Roman numerals. So that's when they're like trying to figure out if and something has been done that's similar to a past serial killer who they have in jail. So there's all this, and they're like, it can't be the same. It's not the same. And then more bodies start showing up, and that's how it starts. So he's kind of a mess. He's obsessed with his work, but he thinks he's not. He drinks a bit too much. His best friend is he's his best friend's superior officer, and they're they're great together. His best friend just got married. He's young. He's in love, yada, yada. And he's just kind of, divorced and still loves his wife, but his wife and he aren't really, they talk, they're constantly in contact, but they don't want to talk to each other, if that makes sense. So there's like murder mystery chasing the person that they're trying to figure out who is killing these people, and it's sort of a love story intertwined. It's got everything. What stood out, it starts off really, I'm going to say slow, but I love slow. When I was writing my book, my books start off kind of too detailed, which I kind of like, but being a new author, my editor's like, maybe don't put so much detail. So I pulled mine. So I just got into all the juicy details of this book. And then it happens after too. So they catch the killer. I'll talk about this too. They catch the killer. And then the book goes on for a few more chapters. And it's all the questions that you're thinking in your head, like, well, what happens to this guy? And what happens to this guy after everything happens? When you watch a show and you're like, I wonder if this happened after, even though it's a show and it's act, you just still are like, well, what else is going to happen? Are they going to have a second season? This book kind of ties everything up in a bow at the end. After they catch the killer, they go on with more conversation. So that stood out. This is what I wrote the tiny details that all matter when trying to find a suspect. One off detail throws things way out of whack, gets them looking at somebody that's not the person, yada, yada. Real life reflection, have a good work-life balance. That's number one, because this guy, one of the reasons why he is not married to his wife anymore is because he had a work balance, and that didn't work out. And also watch out for the unexpected. So just pay attention, because you never know who's going to sneak up on you or drop a big emotional bomb on you. Favorite line or moment? It wasn't a line. There were so many, because British, I love love it. So, but my favorite moment, and it doesn't really give away anything, and I won't give too much detail, but I wrote, it was kind of a, no, don't do it kind of moment, where he's in the pub, he's having a bad week probably, and he just starts drinking. He is drunk as hell, and hit the new officer that started, it's a young girl, she had started the week before or something, maybe 2 weeks before, and she comes up to him and she's already drunk, and she sits down next to him a little too close, and you're like, oh my gosh, where's this going? And then he ends up like bringing her, let me walk you home so you're not, I don't know, so you're safe kind of thing. But really, he talked to her way too long at the bar, and he was even saying into his head, this doesn't look good, blah, blah, blah. So he ends up going in her house, and things start to happen, and thank God they don't. But the scene that happens, that you can only assume, because they're both trashed, what happens next, and it's not sex. It's disgusting. Hopefully that makes you go buy the book, just to go find out what happened this night when they were both really, really drunk and they never wanted to talk about it again. But that was one of my favorite parts of the book. I thought it was hilarious, and it was good to put in. If you love serial killer books, this is a book for you. If you love slow burn and little side stories and lots of details, this book is for you. If you ever wanted to know a bit more details after, like I was saying, like after they catch the killer, if you are left with questions, this book tends to go into more detail after the fact, wrapping up some of the storyline that sometimes authors drop. Kind of, they think they tie it up, but you still end up having questions. This is your book. My final take: the details and the process were very articulate. I loved it. The storyline had it all. It had the chase, the find the killer. It had the struggle of the protagonist. It had the love story. It was scary, and it had murder. All the things that you love in a murder mystery, right? So, good book. There's other people. Somebody I follow on social media recommended this book, so I'm also forwarding the recommendation to you guys. The call to action: that I have written down here. The question for you, and you can answer here or just ignore it, doesn't matter. Have you ever wondered what goes through a killer's mind when deciding if, when, who, and why they kill, or they're going to kill this person? Like, why are they going to kill? If they decide they're going to kill, when they're going to kill, and who, how do they decide who? Like, these are all questions that are always burning in my mind, and what is going on in their head during it as well and after. All that stuff. What urge is happening? You know, they talk about sexual urge or the lack of sexual urge and the way they were brought up and all that stuff. It fascinates me, along with many other people like me. Anyway, that's it. That's my story. I'm going to go back outside now that I'm all cooled off and check on the garden and check on the birds. I got a lot of birds trying to make nests right now all over the place, and I don't know if we have any good safe spots for them. So I gotta politely chase them away, even though I want to watch them and listen to them. But if you guys have any other recommendations for me, I would love to hear from you. Please like, please follow, please subscribe. I'm just trying to build a community of book lovers, reading lovers, and ones that are books that are like flowing in the community. This book has been talked about so much. Why haven't I read it yet? Damn. Anyway, so I'm going to read this by Colleen Hoover, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Read it now because the movie is coming out. So let's read it together. Also, Remarkably Bright Creatures. That movie is on Netflix right now with Sally Field. I love Sally Field. Growing up, she was in all kinds of Smokey and the Bandit. Oh my God, Steel Magnolias. Oh my God. Anyway, her. So we got lots of stuff to do. We got lots of stuff to read. We got lots of shows and movies to see. I would love to incorporate that in here. If you guys are into that, please let me know and we'll get some of that, because I got some shows that I just love and would love to talk about. So anyway, that's it for now. And after I finish this book, it's going to take a little longer than my audiobook reviews because I read slow. So anyways, hopefully that was fun for you to listen to, all my goofy babbling, and I will talk to you soon. See ya. Takes me a minute. Always. Hiya. Hiya. Nope, it's not working. I can't leave. I cannot leave. I cannot leave.